is. I am Janessa J. Champagne, North Dakota's trash queen of glam, geek, and gore, and today we are talking about some makeup. We talked about some makeup last night. We're going to talk about makeup again. We never stop talking about makeup. I had mentioned this before, but I get a bonus a couple times a year, and it was bonus time again. And so I'd been kind of holding off on some makeup shopping, but I decided to purchase a few things. And so last night we looked at the Nomad Cosmetics Outback Adventure. Let me switch this to all chat. We looked at the Nomad Cosmetics Outback Adventure and the Cosmic Beauty Sun Palette. Well, today we got another couple of deliveries. We got something from Trixie Cosmetics and we got something from Blend Bunny. Now, Blend Bunny is on my neck right now because not only did they just release their updated Dollhouse palette and the May Pang Flora and Fauna collection, now this week they are putting out the next Robert Welsh collaboration, Gleam and Gloom, and they are also putting out their revamped Lure palette. So things are getting wild over here. So I'm going to have another Blend Bunny order, but let me go ahead and I've got all the packaging here. I've got to take the garbage out tonight. So I kind of left it over here, but let me throw it out of the way because it's sitting on top of my Blend Bunny drawer. Hello, Alex. How's it going? And I want to pull out the original Dollhouse palette so we can kind of take a look. There is, I believe it is, no, I'm not going to say anything because I don't actually believe that. I don't remember enough. There we go. There's the Dollhouse palette. Let's go into Trixie Cosmetics first, though. Let me just make sure I've got that here so that when we want to go into it. Hello, Mama Champagne. Yes, I'm taking a break. I did have a short lunch break earlier, and I wasn't necessarily going to come on and talk about the makeup that arrived today. But then Dolly Parton died, and it's been kind of a dark day in the office because Dolly Parton was one of those people that, like, there's not a lot of people in the world that make me still believe that kindness is like a real thing. Because the world has just become ugly and broken and terrible. And Dolly Parton was a rare glimpse into the fact that people can actually be decent human beings. And now Dolly Parton has passed away. So I was like, you know what? It's kind of a blah day anyway. And there's somebody who, how do I say this? I'm sure she means well, but there's somebody at work today that is determined to piss me the fuck off. And it's this conversation. I work with her a couple times a year on a specific kind of project. And like, I always know she's going to be like this. And then it still somehow like surprises me and gets to me. And I'm just like, because she just is like there's something where you just have a conversation and sometimes she wants something and she just wants what she wants. And she won't ever just tell you, I want you to do it this way and like engage in that conversation. Because some of it is stuff that is not within her control. She's coming to our team for like contract work, basically. And so how we choose to do that is up to us. But sometimes she just wants something. But then instead of like just being like, well, could I propose that you do it this way? And then we could have the conversation about why that would or would not work. Instead, she'll just be like, well, we could try this. This could be a thing. And then you're like, oh, well, we're not actually doing that. And she'll be like, oh, but we could do this. Like, this is also an option. And it's like, but we're not doing that because of this. Oh, well, here's a thing that's like also related to that same thing. And it's like, how many fucking times do I have to say, we are not going to do that? We don't do that. That's not how we work. And the choice is not up to you. And I just like, today is not the day. Like today, I came back from a long weekend, and I like to maybe ease a little bit into the new week. And so to just immediately have this like, but what about this? But this, but there's this, but this, but this, and I'm just like, and we get through it every time, and the event is fine, and the event is lovely, and everybody goes along, and they all get, and we're all friends or whatever. But I always know it's going to be bad, but and it's an event that's in October, so it always starts like earlier and earlier every time, and so I'm just like, can we just not drive me crazy today? Like, could that be our goal, to just like not drive me up the fucking wall today, maybe Thursday. Is Thursday okay? Could I have a couple days to ease back into it? Because I have things that I have to get done, today, that are not things that are going to be in October. Like, what is going on? Yes, wish you good vibes on your annual review. Absolutely, Alex. We hope that goes well. Yeah, she was pretty fabulous. Yeah, today is not the day. So let's look at some Trixie Cosmetics things. So, Trixie Cosmetics, there's a new palette. This is the Lovebirds palette. I think this is super cute. I like Trixie Cosmetics. I do think that her stuff is pretty decent, but I have said this before that like the shimmers in her palettes, now there's a couple marbled shimmers in here, which are always a little bit dicey, but I've always felt that like her shimmers are like they're good shimmers, but they're more like standard shimmers. They're more like your satin metallic kind of shimmers. They're not like the typical indie kind of shimmers like Blend Bunny, like Bella Beauté Bar. Like Blend Bunny tends to have, she doesn't do a lot of like the duochrome, multichrome, holochrome, all that kind of stuff. But like she does like elevated satin shimmers. These are much more like your traditional satin shimmers. They're beautiful. They're like the best of that option, but they're still not like crazy fun shimmers. But they have some. She has some fun color stories. I like this. I mean, obviously, I love a pop like this in kind of more neutral palette. I do love this kind of turquoise with this peach together, and then this like cherry red. I think is really really pretty. So we do have some fun things in here. So that is the palette that came from Trixie Cosmetics. And then where did I set them? Where did you go? Because I've got a couple. I can find the old ones. Because I got a couple of the soft serves. There were two soft serves, and they are the like glossy lip stains. When you put it on, it's very glossy. I used some of it at the show this weekend, and it's kind of a fun glossy, and then you wipe it off and you've still got a stain. So these are old colors that I've had in the glossy lip stain. And then, oh, they got tucked under this other palette. So there were two that came out with the Lovebirds collection. And we got this peachy one, which is Mi Amoretto. Mi Amoretto. I feel like the scents off here, it's not that they're bad, but they are definitely off from what they purport to be. Because this is supposed to smell like amaretto, which is like almond. And I'm not getting almond from this. This smells like skincare. It's got that like herby, like light, almost like herby floral kind of smell. Like it does not smell almond to me at all. I don't, it's not that they're bad. Again, it's not that they're bad, but the stuff she describes, I'm like, I don't know what her nose is doing. I don't know what my nose is doing because the things she say that they smell like. This is called Caked Up, and I think this is supposed to smell like cake. I don't know. I would have to check to see what it says it smells like because again, it's got almost like a floral smell to it, but like a floral with like butter. I don't I don't get it. I don't buy things. I like scented makeup. I don't buy things just for the scent, but yeah, I don't know what they're talking about with that. So that is the Trixie Cosmetics, the Lovebirds. This is fun. I like Trixie Cosmetics. I've been doing some looks with Trixie Cosmetics. I'll put this in my top drawer again because I did a look with the Trixie Air palette. I've got a look planned with the Brittany Broski palette, which is a few releases old now. But that's how things go in my life. But now let's get to the Blend Bunny because Blend Bunny is my favorite. They are my like ride or die. I do. They are probably my favorite brand at this point. Hello, Dion. How's it going? Hey, wave out and about. We'll put you on when I get home. Well, thank you. We'll see you on the replay crew. But yeah, I think Blend Bunny is probably, and I didn't bring a drink with me, probably my favorite brand at this point. It's probably my favorite brand. And so I do absolutely, even though it's not always like sometimes for photo shoots and stuff, I might go to like a Cosmic Brushes or another brand as opposed to going to Blend Bunny first. But I do love Blend Bunny, and I think they are my favorite in terms of like their packaging and their theming. I just think they're generally very fun. But I just, is it your favorite because of color story? I think because of, I mean, part of it is the performance. A lot of it is the color stories, not only the color stories that work for me, but I just find her color stories very interesting, very exciting. I like the way that she puts them together. I mean, they have a soft spot in my heart because they were also the first brand after I joined YouTube that ever sent me like any sort of gift package or anything. After I did my Blend Bunny, my Blend Bunny Thunderdome, they sent me um, the Machina palette as well as that face palette, the Forget Me Not, I think it's called. And so that also, puts them in my heart. I love the interesting collabs that they do. I love the masterclass collection. I think that that is so classy and beautiful. And I love the like just the look of it and the aesthetic of it. And yeah, I just have, and everything, so many of the things have like resonated with me in interesting ways. And so I just love Blend Bunny. But they've been re-releasing a lot of their old palettes or versions of their old palettes, redos, restocks, revamps. And so the newest one to get that treatment that just arrived is the Dollhouse. So this was, I think, maybe one of the like early palettes, like the third or fourth, because I know they started with blends, and then I think Primal came out after blends, and then it was either Surge or this one. And I don't remember which one. So I think this is either the third or fourth palette that they put out. Surge might have been before Dollhouse. I can't really remember. I joined the brand pretty early, but they already had a few releases out by the time I started buying them. It's nice to be noticed when you work so hard. Dion deserves PR from Notoriously Morbid on a exactly. Yes, like absolutely. It's so when you're a small creator and you're like pumping out all this stuff, like having a little bit of like recognition or a little bit of appreciation, not that it's entitled, but it's absolutely so appreciated. And so for her to like send it, because at that time, I mean, I'm still not a big channel. Although we're rounding up on 900, we're gonna do it. I think we're at 894 now after last night's live. We're so close to 900. And when you're, and I think I was only at maybe 5 or 600 when that, so I was a really small channel, even smaller than I am now. And so for her to like, we had a really beautiful, lovely conversation on IG, and then she sent me that package, and it was really wonderful, very sweet. So this is the original. So here's the original Dollhouse palette, and you can see it's like her take on a neutral palette. So there's a lot of neutrals. Some of the brownish tones go more orangey peach, which I like. There's some of this that's a little bit more cool toned. We've got some interesting pops for the shimmer. We still have a little bit of purple and blue to kind of color it up a little bit. And so this is the original version. Now the new ones are all magnetic. And in addition to having magnetic packaging, they also changed up the cover art. I do believe this one, we'll take a look at them and we'll kind of look at them side by side. I do believe this one is unchanged. The Lure palette that's coming out on Friday, there was one shade that got updated and revamped and is supposed to be better. So, but I do believe this one, we'll take a look at them, but I think this one is supposed to be the same. So again, this is the old one. And now here is the new version of the Dollhouse. And you can see we've got this really beautiful cover art. I think that's really pretty with the ribbons and those kind of weird, funky doll faces. I think they're really fun. And then we have, of course, here are the shades. Now, the color story looks roughly the same to me, but there's something, I mean, it could just be the background. It could just be that these are newer shades. I think also the shimmers are like a new updated formula, but there's something about this that just seems a little bit more vibrant. Oh, wait a minute. No. Wait. Sorry. Oh, I was having a like total brain fart moment. I was like, oh, there used to be rows of shimmers. There's 2 rows of shimmers in both. I don't know why I couldn't see that. But here you can see, I think they are meant to be the same shimmers. There's a little bit more space. So the palette becomes a little bit bigger because they're doing, again, they're doing the magnetic. And so it does affect, the new one is heavier. It's a little bit bigger. The spaces between the shadows are a little bit bigger. And so there is, yeah, for some reason when I was looking at, now when I see them next to each other, I'm like, yeah, that's the same color story. This one maybe looks like it could be a little bit different from the one up there. We'll maybe swatch that out And maybe we'll swatch the other one in that row. That shimmer too maybe looks a little bit, those look a little bit different. And they might look a little different because I think, like I said, I do think they updated the formula. So I think that they're meant to be the same colors, but they're in a new updated formula. But those two to me look different. So let's go ahead and swatch those shimmers before we look at the May Pang collection. So again, we were looking at... Oh, you know, I think they mentioned this. The reason why I was thinking that they were different, another thing I just noticed, is that, and why they looked so much different, is that this one is supposed to be up here. Oh, no. Wait, what's happening? Because the blue is here, the blue is here, the purple's there, purple's there. But then down here, the light one's here, and the light one is up here, and then the two darks are next to each other. Because the two darks are next to... So there, it looks like there was some rearrangement. It looks like there is a little bit of just like moving the shades around a little bit. And so that's why I was getting confused, because it's just a couple things. Hello, buddy. Hey, Tina Jones. I am here. We are looking at, we just looked at the Trixie Cosmetics Lovebird collection. And here we are looking at the new Blend Bunny. This is the new version of the Dollhouse. She mentioned something about shades being in different spots, so maybe that's what she was talking about. I don't remember on Instagram. She was saying, like, they're magnetic, so if you want to, you can move them around. She said something about every order coming with a magnetic tool, or maybe that's the one that's coming out this next time. Because I didn't get a magnetic tool. I do have a couple magnetic tools from Blend Bunny, so it's not a big deal. I have one of their new ones as well, but I'm probably going to leave everything as is, because it looks like they've changed the location of the... So like the ones that they've rearranged are rearranged on purpose, because the shade names are correct. So yeah, so we don't have to... Well, we'll swatch it anyway. I said we were going to do it. So from that kind of pinky row, we've got Little Sister and Tool look a little bit different. So let me do Little Sister from the original. So there's Little Sister from the original. And here we have Little Sister from the updated. A little different. Definitely has a little bit. This one, the new one, seems to have a little bit more pink to it. This stays a little bit more rose gold, coppery kind of color. This, I think, heads towards a little bit more towards the pink. Although when I get it down close to me, then it's the opposite. The top one looks a little bit more pink. So these have a little bit of like a shifty nature to them. But I think this one just seems a little bit brighter. And to me, again, looking in the camera, it looks a little bit more pinky toned. But yeah, very, very close. Not a huge difference. Now let's do Tool. So Tool from the old one. And again, the old one is a few years old now too, so that can affect the shadows. That is Tool. We can see it's kind of like a light pink with a really strong golden shift. Not going to be here long. I was just at T-Mobile for 2.5 hours. Tina, how did you last? I hate doing anything with cell phones. I can't imagine being at T-Mobile for 2.5 hours. You are a stronger person than I am, because I would have lost my mind after about 45 minutes. I hope everything is going well. I hope you got it all sorted, and I hope you don't have to go back for a long time. Let's see. So now let's do Tool from the new one. I just wiped off my fingers and then still chose my pinky. I don't know what I'm doing here. Ooh, this one definitely looks different to me as well. This one now has much more of the gold. So there is still a little bit of pink, but this one is almost like a pink base with a gold. This one looks much more just gold. So it's got like a little bit of a pinky undertone, but the base looks much lighter, and you just get the straight up gold. So Tool and Little Sister, I do feel like they are a little bit different. I feel like I get, and it's 117. Tina Jones, you're in Arizona, aren't you? I think you've mentioned that, right? You're in Arizona. 117. I'm not built for that. I couldn't do it. do it. That is too much for me. So there's those. And so they are definitely slightly different. And some of it may just be the reformulation, but they look different enough that I'm also going to swatch the ones from this top row, the browns. I feel like those shimmers look a little bit different. So let's go ahead and do those, and then we'll look at the, let's start with pin curls. So this is pin curls from the old, very gold copper. Very gold copper. And now we'll do pin curls from the new one. Ooh, definitely darker. It's much more of like an antique, like an antique copper. Like it's still copper, but this one is a brighter. This one has more of like that burnished copper. I don't know if that's exactly the description I want, but that's what's come to mind. Then we have Chantilly. And so this is meant to be kind of a bronzy brown shimmer. This is from the old, and you can see it's got a little bit of like an olive undertone. So we've got that kind of bronzy brown. And then Chantilly from the new. This is much more, they're definitely a different feel. Like they feel very different when I swatch them. That you can tell is much more of that brown. It's brown with the kind of bronzy notes. This one is like an actual bronze with like a greenish tone to it. And then, yeah, so that's really fun. So that's the dollhouse. So it does seem like the shimmers for sure have been reformulated. Thanks, Tina. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you. But yeah, so I'm loving this. I think this is fun, but I'm excited to see there are some. I love to see that we've got new shimmer formulas. I've always liked their. I mean, look at how bright and shiny the old one is. But then I think some of these, it's a little bit smoother. So I like that they're still like growing and improving and changing things. So I appreciate that. Yeah, so I think that's kind of fun. Now let's talk about the May Pang collection. Because if you remember, May Pang, she had the Rotten collection. Where is Rotten? Where are you? Hello, where are you? Is this content me just hanging off the side? Um, when am I going to be here? I'm going to be here tomorrow at 7:30 Central. That's going to be when we do the next movie review. So that's the only one. The only ones I have planned are the ones that are on my live tab that are on Wednesdays or Fridays. Otherwise, I kind of just go live when the inspiration hits me. But the next time for sure that I will be here will be tomorrow night, 7:30 Central. Here they are. So the last one was Rotten. And so she did this beautiful all matte palette that was based on mold and all that. What if I said it wasn't content? I'd do it anyway. Exactly. I would do it anyway. But sometimes I just want to know, is this content? These were all based on different kinds of like molds. The product photography is gross and beautiful. Love it. They got some like old fruit that was about to expire and they let it mold and photographed it, and it's just gorgeous. And then there was this side palette. This is the efflorescence palette. This probably on camera just looks white. These are like those white based shimmers, and but they each have like a color shift to them. So like this one is kind of a turquoise. This is like a yellow green. This is a gold. This is like an orangey red. This is like a hot fuchsia pink, and then like a blue. So we've got just fun shifty things. So then they announced that they were doing flora and fauna. So that's the new one. And first, of course, they revealed the covers. So we have fauna and flora. And I thought, oh, they're going to do like they did with the Ellis palette. So if you remember, let's see, do I have the Ellis palettes close at hand? Because with the Ellis palettes, volume 2, they did an all matte palette, or you could buy it as 2 smaller all matte palettes. And they did the all shimmer Garden of Stars, I think it was called. Again, is this content? Here I am just looking off the side. Okay. But since I've got all the Blend Bunny here, I was like, we might as well show. So they did this where they did like an all matte palette. That's very neutral. We've got grays, we've got kind of peachy oranges, and we've got some pinks. And so a lot of very cool tone, but you could either get this set as a single palette or this set as a single palette, or just get the combined. And I just bought the combined. So I have that. And then they came out with this beautiful Garden of Stars. Is that? Yep, the Garden of Stars. And this is all shimmer. So that's always my complaint, is that there's never enough shimmers. And so when I saw after they did the one where it was like a matte palette with a little bitty like shimmer palette, I thought, oh my God, they're doing it again. They're doing an Ellis again. So they're going to do an all matte palette and they're going to do an all shimmer palette. Won't that be great? Like Flora and Fauna. And I thought that would be really fun. And then when they revealed them, so this is the Fauna palette. This is all mattes, beautiful range of colors. Again, kind of an odd selection, like trying to figure it out. I usually leave my Blend Bunny palettes as they are, but this is a collection that makes me feel like I might want to try to rearrange them a little bit. So we'll have to see. I haven't decided. But here we have the Fauna palette. Now we get to Flora. And we have 2 rows of mattes and 1 row of shimmers. So I don't know if Mei Peng, I'm not super familiar with her work. All of her looks that I've seen are very, very beautiful. I don't know if she has an aversion to shimmer and just doesn't use much shimmer. And so we got another palette where all of them are mattes except for one little row. So that's a little bit of a sadness for me, just because I do really like Blend Bunny shimmers and I always feel like there's never enough. Um, but if you put these together, these shimmers do kind of help round out both color stories. So there's definitely things that will help make everything more usable. I do really think that these palettes are meant to pair together. I mean, obviously she made them together. She made them in kind of a theme, but I think that these palettes are better when you stack them together. And if I were to rearrange them, I think I would have very much more coordinated color stories. I would kind of separate things a little bit. This color and this color, I know that this one is darker, but I think they're maybe a little bit too similar for me. So there are some criticisms of this. So even though Blend Bunny is my favorite brand, every once in a while there are a few things where I'm like, did we have to? And that's just one where I'm like, those peach colors, they are different. But I think when we go in to use them, is that one going to be that much different from that one? I don't think that they are. Biocrow and Persica. I'm sure they are like scientific-y names. So those are the 2 palettes. So I do love this, but again, it's a brand that I love. I'm always going to ride for this brand. She would have to do something pretty wild for me to like not ride for this brand, because I do love it and I've been riding for them for a long time. But I don't always think that they're perfect, and especially with the collabs, because the collabs are much more of like that person's perspective. And so I do find that like the ones that I like the most, the ones I think are the most effective, are usually the ones that are Blend Bunny. I'm planning to do a Blend Bunny similar to the full brand review that I did with Made by Mitchell, but I'm going to do more of I'm kind of theming it around the Eras tour, like Taylor Swift and the Eras tour, that we have these eras. Because I feel like Blend Bunny also kind of has eras, and I'm really interested because I feel like different like sets of releases kind of like combine together in really interesting ways. And I think that right now we've got kind of 2 eras that are kind of working simultaneously. And I think that it has made for some really interesting releases. Hello, Janet. How's it going? Nice to see you. I'm actually getting ready to wrap up pretty soon because I'm just on a little bit of a break. After the news about Dolly, I needed to like take a break and talk about some makeup and get back into my happy place before I finish up some more things at work. But so yeah, we were just looking at Flora and Fauna, and we were looking at that and then comparing it a little bit to Rotten and Efflorescence, the previous palette collab that she did. I need to organize my Blend Bunny drawers. They are getting out of control. And then we looked at the new Dollhouse palette and we compared a few of the shimmers. And they looked different. They definitely had some differences to the previous. And then where did I set it? Because we also then looked at the Trixie Cosmetics. Oh, I put it in my drawer. This is my like to be used drawer, even though I skip it too many times. But we looked at the Lovebirds palette from Trixie Cosmetics. We looked at this was kind of short. I was excited to get to the Blend Bunny, so we maybe didn't give as much time to this as possible. I'm looking at hands. Well, thank you. This hair is kind of driving me crazy. It's getting to that point when I do the little like shaved sides. It's starting to grow out, and so it's getting its own little like point. So I got to get a haircut. But I have to tonight. I'm going to try to run to Walmart and get bleach so that I can bleach my hair and then I can get it cut and the whole thing. The new Blend Bunny collab. I mean, again, I ride hard for Blend Bunny, and so obviously I'm going to get the palette. But I don't know that I'm going to get any of the lipsticks. Although I did see in the promo pictures, they had Robert Welch wearing the gleam side, the pink. Well, they had looks with both, but the purple with the black, I was like, I don't really need that. But the pink with the blue on top, I was like, okay, I might break down and buy those because I think they're only like $10 a piece. I think the lips are not very expensive, but in general, I'm not that excited about the lips. Like I said, now that I've seen those two paired together, I might give them a try. I definitely need the palette. I love me some Blend Bunny. Excuse me, pretty girl. But $18 for those little plushies each. Stop. Hello, cheese. Did I say hello to cheese? In my head I said hello to cheese. Hello. I'm doing well. We're getting ready to wrap up here so I can go back to work, but we're just taking a little bit of a break, and I forgot to bring a drink over, and I talk so much that I start coughing. So I'm excited for the new collab, and I'm excited to get my hands on the updated Lure palette. But I think that purple palette is beautiful. I don't think it's going to replace Ultraviolet as my favorite purple palette. I think Ultraviolet from Bella Beauté Bar and Deandra Nicole is going to be absolutely still my favorite purple palette. But I'm excited for a mostly purple palette from Blend Bunny. I think that's going to be fun. And yeah, I'm excited for the new Lure palette and to see it and see how it worked out. And yeah, that's what's going on here. So I should get back to work. I've calmed, I've harnessed my chi, and that other person is probably offline because they're in another time zone and it's probably past their workday. So now I can just relax and just like calm down and so yeah, let's see if I can remember. Yeah, I think the Bella Beauté Bar Purple is still probably because I do like those really impactful shimmers. And I think that Blend Bunny's shimmers are beautiful, and I think the shimmers have gotten better over the years. But I just sometimes I want that boom boom pow of like the multichrome, the duochrome, the holochrome, you know, those really kind of shifty, beautiful shades that we get from those kind of brands like Bella Beauté Bar. So let's see if I can remember my outro. So thank you everybody for stopping by and for chatting and saying hello in the middle of my workday, or I guess towards the end of my workday. It's not the middle of the day, but excuse me. While you no, see, I'm getting it all confused, and then I start coughing and I interrupt myself. So thank you for being here. Those of you who are here in live chat, I would love it if you'd circle back around when this becomes a video and leave a comment down below. Tell us your thoughts. Replay crew, we already know you rock, so we want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think about Blend Bunny? What do you think about these releases from today? Give us your thoughts down below. We'd love to hear it. While you are down there leaving that comment, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Tell me that you appreciate the video, or if you are like, girl, why are you still here? You should be at work. You should be getting stuff done. You should be working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living in honor of Dolly Parton. Then go ahead and give me that thumbs down. It is all engagement. The algorithm isn't a picky bitch, and neither am I. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, become part of the family, and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified of all future uploads and lives. I try really hard to make sure I have at least one video or live per week. I usually go live several times a week, so even if there's not a video, there will be lives. And I try to sprinkle it among glam, geek, and gore, so there's a little bit of something for everybody. And if you're lucky, you might even get a bonus video. Ooh, Dolly Parton-tastic. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box below. including a link to my website, just pretend it's there, The World of Champagne at janessaj.com. Thank you so much for watching. I love and appreciate all of you. Thanks for stopping in on this little chatty video. I had a good time. I'm knocking things over. And I'm going to go get a drink since I can't stop coughing. And until I see you again.